Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Reaction and Review UK. Please set all cell phones to shut the fuck up. Now, you may recall in the Power Rangers reaction review that I made this remark about another franchise, and guess what was requested? So yeah, this is going to be our first request episode today. The request comes in to us by MegaSOSBrigade. I don't actually have a physical copy of the DVD, so you should be seeing the DVD copy here. Today's movie is going to be Digimon the movie. Oh boy. A little background check. Yes, I did watch Digimon as a kid. I mean, I used to watch it after school, and from what I remember of the show, I mean, it was a pretty good story, and I thought the voice work was okay. I just always hated that theme song. I've gotten over it, but it always used to bug me when it started. It'd be like, ugh, sound down, you know? Well, it's been a long-ass time since I've watched this movie, and does it still hold up? Is it still worth watching? Let's find out together, everybody. So, grab something to drink. It's time to kick back, relax, and let's watch Digimon the movie. You want me to comment on this? Okay. Yes, Angela Anaconda opens the Digimon movie. I had this conversation / argument with a friend of mine about how I feel this has no purpose in the movie, and he says, well, it was relevant at the time. And I understand where he's coming from, but I counter it by saying it doesn't seem to work for me for combining two franchises that have no relation to each other to help promote the other. I mean, if you're a fan of Digimon, you're not going to give two shits about Angela Anaconda and vice versa. And that's kind of the problem, because they did it to try and boost the fan base of both, and from what I understand, no one gave a monkeys. It's kind of like watching Wallace and Gromit promote the new Hobbit movie coming out. Cracking Hobbits, Gromit! Okay, we've just sat through some shameless self-promotion for Angela Anaconda, and it was okay. Not funny, I mean, well animated, clever and whatnot, but at least we're over the worst of it now. I retract what I just said. Here is the worst part. Well, since I made the comparison between the two films, I'll do it here again. The Power Rangers movie at least had a text scroll with probably the most vaguest description ever. But at least, you know, the Power Rangers movie wasn't chucking out exposition every 5 seconds, you know? Which is kind of the big Digimon movie's other problem. It's just, like, got Kari just chucking exposition at everybody. No, not you, Chibi Kari, but Kari is in, you know. I've always had a problem with Digimon announcing their attack. I mean, with Pokemon, it makes a bit of sense. The trainer has to call it out so the Pokemon does it. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to say Pepper Breath and then shoot at you as you're doing it. I mean, what kind of idiot, you know, says their attack before they do it? Eat Dairy Lee. This is the example I was talking about. He has the common sense to attack them while they're transforming. That's a sign of a more calculated villain. Because in reality, if you're fighting somebody and you're triggering like your transformation move, they will always take the cheap shot. I know I would. I'm just saying is all. Oh no! Over-exaggerated voice acting! Besides, Omnimon's pretty badass. Come on. Someone fucks you up with two hands. One's got a dinosaur head that has a sword coming out of it, and the other's got like a wolf head with a gun stuck in it. That's pretty hardcore. Just saying. Oh, sorry, a transcendent sword. My apologies. No. I'm not rewinding this. Once we start, we go through. I really have to disagree with Doug on this one, saying, like, how do you make that boring? This isn't really boring, it's just a basic action scene. It's a franchise about Japanese monsters fighting each other. You get what you pay for. It's not boring, it's just standard. Okay, so that was the movie. We'll just put a stop there. Alrighty then. Okay, when you judge the movie for when it was released, yes, it's an okay movie, because a lot of reviewers just judge everything by today's standards. So I figured with this series, I want to point out, before I get into it, that yes, when you judge it by the standards of the day it was released, it's okay for what it does. Now, I want to go with the positives first, just so, you know, we're being a bit fair here. The animation was really good. I mean, very, very nice, simplistic animation. It has, like, the very simple lines, sometimes with very little shading. It gives this very rich-looking effect that some animes don't really have. I kind of like the look of that. The story is the movie's biggest handicap, when you consider it is just 3 movies glued together. Now, I know the Pokemon movie is kind of 2 movies because it has the Pikachu's Vacation thing, but the Pikachu's Vacation is there kind of like the... Whenever you watch like a Pixar movie, it's kind of like the film you see before the main one. And that's kind of like the problem. It's just, like I said, it's just 3 movies glued together, and they don't really have any connecting narrative. They keep mentioning Willis throughout all 3 stories to say, oh yeah, they're connected, but any real Digimon fan will tell you they have no connection to each other at all. Oh, excuse me. Fucking Red Bull, I swear to God. Right, the voice acting. Yeah, I know, it was from the 90s, so it was good back then, but these days, the voices themselves are tolerable. There are actually some pretty good voice talent on this series, but the problem is the script is embarrassing. It has this mistake of just, let's just say things, or some corny one-liners that are just not funny. They're not funny at all. You know, it's just, like, you may get a chuckle if you're, like, 7 years old, but if you're watching it in your 20s, you're like, ugh, it was terrible. But like I said, the voice talent is actually good. The one thing that irritates me the most is, like, Kari's constant narration about the whole story, when it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on. We don't need some, 6-year-old telling us what's going on. She's got a nice voice, don't get me wrong, I like that, but we don't need a narrator. We can see what's going on. I think the better thing to have done was just taken the middle movie, which is, I think it's called Our Summer Wars in Japan. Just take that story and just pad it out. The Angela Anaconda bit at the beginning was really unnecessary. It adds nothing to the movie at all. I know my friends would argue with me that, oh, it was relevant at the time, and it's kind of cute and whatnot. It reminds me a lot of the Rockman EXE Duel Masters little mini thing attached to the beginning of the Mega Man EXE movie. It adds nothing to it at all. It adds nothing to the story. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I hear it was a teaser trailer for another movie, but I'm not sure if it was ever made. Correct me if I'm wrong if it has been made, and maybe I'll recover it one day. Overall, I think the movie is better when you watch the 3 original Japanese shorts. I've actually watched, I think the name, I've actually got the name of it right here. Let me have a quick look. Bear with me 1 second, folks. It's got too many bloody bookmarks on here. Yeah. In Japan, it's called Bokura no War Game, which is the middle part with Omnimon fighting Diaboromon. Go and find that on YouTube. I'll give you it one more time. It's called Bokura no War Game. Go and find that on YouTube. It's a much better animated piece. It has no corny jokes. Yeah, it's Japanese, and some of the voice work is off in places, but you'll get a much more enjoyable experience without the corny one-liners, the embarrassing script, and the weird random 90s pop songs. I don't have a physical copy of the DVD, so you should be seeing the DVD box appearing again. If you can find this movie, like on Amazon or eBay, a real cheapest chips and whatever, then go for it if you're a big fan of Digimon. Or if you've never heard of Digimon, then maybe it's best to just avoid it. However, there is a silver lining to come out of this, because when you consider like how bad the dub for the first Pokemon season and Digimon was, it's kind of a good thing because it helped improve dubbing over the years. You look at a lot of anime dubs now, it's a much better job. Yeah, I know people say, well, 4Kids sucks, but if you compare some of the dubbing talent from 4Kids and you compare it to the earlier Digimon dubs, it's a significant difference. Dubbing, America's never really going to get its hands on Japanese anime. But I like to think that dubbing has come a whole long way since the days of Digimon. Hell, I mean, Dragon Ball Z Kai actually has a pretty decent dub attached to it. And, okay, I'm panning this out now, but what I'm trying to say is dubbing is improved. And I guess we can thank this movie for showing us how to do it right instead of doing it wrong. That's going to conclude Reaction Review UK to everybody. I'm Random. Take care, and I'll see you all in the near future. Peace. Makes you wonder if the producers of Anaconda had any fucking idea what Digimon is, and they were approached to do this. And they're like, we appreciate the paycheck and all, but what's this got to do with our show?